Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and it is a pleasure to have you on board. About 12 minutes past 11 a.m. here in Nairobi, Kenya. We have so much in store for you as we near our elections. A lot of things is happening, and even with that, we have to keep up with President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy. As we all know, he has just about a couple of days. Today is 14 days. The countdown continues toward general elections. So President Uhuru Kenyatta is on the last stretch of checking out and completing and launching and opening some of his last initiatives and programs that he had started during his near 10-year tenure as the President of the Republic of Kenya. My name is Miriam Ogutu, so we shall be keeping you up to date with President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy, and also we shall be looking at some of the news-making headlines on the leading newspapers this morning. So let's just start by looking at the leading newspapers. The Daily Nation this morning, 24 dead in Nithi Bridge bus crash. Death toll could rise in coming hours, police say. The story is on the back page. And then inside Raila and Ruto business empires. So they're all outlined there. And then how Moi settled on Uhuru as successor, that is on page 2 and 3. Kinoti takes the war to Chebukati over Venezuelans. That story is on page 8, and that has been a trending topic in the country. And we talked about it yesterday at length, so we'll just look a bit of it and then we shall move on to other matters. And the main headline on the Star newspaper, Ruto office raided as DP state tussle over rigging claim. Sleuths cut away 2 computers as Kinoti puts Chebukati on the spot. That is on page 4 and 5. IEBC tech farm riddled with controversies. That is on page 7. Subsidized unga to hit shelves this week. That is according to Millers. You'll find that on page 8. The capture lungs and why they are dear to Kenyan athletes. The story is on page 14 and 15 on the Star newspaper. The Standard, Kinoti versus IEBC. That is the main headline. Who is telling the truth on Venezuelans? DCI claims the 3 are in the country to execute ill motives, but their host says they are supposed to train IEBC staff on support solutions, with Ruto telling police to keep off election matters. The story is on page 4 and 5. Raila walks out on media debate. Azimio leader says he will hold a town hall meeting instead of sharing platform with UDA candidates, but organizers insist it will go on. The story is on page 6. Beauty products made from snake venom. That story is on page 3. Dos Santos divisive in death. That is on page 30. And I think the last I was looking at this story on Thursday, I don't know if that has since changed. The family had agreed that they will bring the body from Barcelona in Spain to be buried back in Luanda in Angola. I remember Dos Santos was the president of Angola for about 38 years. And the person that he handpicked, President Lourenço, the current president of Angola, was his very good friend and political comrade. But after he succeeded him, that man sort of turned as it on him or against him. So there has been a problem with that. So apparently Dos Santos had I don't know if he put it on his will or not, that he wanted to be buried in Barcelona, or that is a decision that the family was trying to make on his behalf, but they've now decided that they will bring his body back to Luanda, Angola. The last I was reading of that story, I don't know if that has since changed, but as the Standard has rightfully captured that topic, he is as much divisive even in his death. Okay, debt holiday saves state 256 billion Kenya shillings. You'll find that on page 25. Koreal bags second gold for Kenya. That is on page 40. So that is what we have on the leading newspapers this morning. Let me see if I can get some from the region and see if I have a few newspapers from across. All right, very well. I do have some. The Daily Monitor from Uganda. Hunger kills 900 in Karamoja. Leaders. That's according to leaders. And New Vision 2,000 stolen Ugandan cars found in Kenya. Not surprised. Museveni unveils modern SFC houses. Okay. So Daily News, tribalism is last refuge of rogues. That is the newspaper from Zimbabwe. And the Herald, still from Zimbabwe, road works create 11,000 jobs. And then Newsday, also still from Zimbabwe, government divides workers' union. The Citizen from Tanzania, BOT says investigating dubious 500 Tanzania shillings coins. Okay, and highs and lows of parliament in Tanzania's democracy journey, and Samia block farm scheme to draw youth. So all of that you'll find on the front page of the Citizen. The Daily News from Tanzania as well. Samia decries biker crimes. I think this is a biker. That's the border like we know it here in Nigeria. It's known as Okada, and it's also widely used as a means of affordable public transport across Africa. Now it's posing a real nightmare. And Tanzania, we see there the president is raising similar concerns that we've had and experienced across board. The Guardian from Nigeria. Train attack, shock as terrorists vow to kidnap Buhari, El Rufai. They should probably do that. I don't know. Bad idea, but maybe that's the only way they can solve this problem. Okay, so consumers, farms brace for higher prices amid energy crisis. Still on the Guardian, The Nation. Security on red alert over threat to Buhari and El Rufai. And El Rufai is another crazy head governor of Kaduna State that has been riddled with cases of kidnappings and ransoms and all these killings and all that. And he's very reckless. He's a very reckless leader. So I don't know. The Guardian from the UK, greatest staffing crisis in NHS. History leaves patients at risk. And then the Daily Telegraph, still from the UK. Sunak takes aim at truth over China's influence in universities. So that is what we have at some of the papers in Kenya, and also some across the continent of Africa and others from outside. Thank you so much. You're now up to date. I'm joined this morning by Kiptanui Savania from, I think, Nakuru. Kiptanui, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam. Good morning to Dr. David. Good morning to my brother Jeffan, Douglas, Songa, Tarwish, and everybody. Good evening, good afternoon to those who are watching us all over the world. I'm coming to you live from Nakuru. Thank you for having me on this show.
Okay, nice to have you. And we're also joined by Douglas Kirimi. Douglas, good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, to our crew, and also to my fellow correspondents, and also to our friends across the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're watching us from. Coming live to you from Meru. Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you. And before I move on to the next panelist, this Nithi bridge, from what I've been reading on social media, it is a black spot and has claimed a lot of lives. I don't know if you know anything about it, and what can you tell us perhaps where this accident that claimed 24 people, and according to the reports we're getting from the hospitals, others, the death toll could rise because of the level of injuries. Do you know anything about this dangerous Nithi bridge?
Thank you, Miriam. The Nithi Bridge is a death spot, and it's been so for so many years. And a rumor would have it in former years when I was growing up that some people had depressed some bad omens there, and some leaders would also sacrifice people during elections and all that. And in subsequent years, the government has always been promising to redesign the road. What they did is on the part on your way to Meru, on the way to Meru and Chogoria, they expanded the road into a two-lane road, and on the other end, they didn't do anything. But on the other hand, the bridge itself remains small, and it has never been expanded. They believe that many lives would not have been lost if the government had put it as a priority to reconstruct the road, redesign it, and also redesign the bridge. And I send my condolences to the people of Meru who have lost their relatives from Maua region of Egembe, and also to various people across the country who also lost their relatives. I send my condolences and my sympathies to them. But it is a challenge to the government of the Republic of Kenya, especially the Kenya National Highways, which is in charge of that road, because it is a Kenya road that they should be able to redesign that road and also build a better bridge on the same. Miriam, at the Nithi Bridge, we've lost thousands of people since time immemorial. And since the road came to the fore in 1980s, we have lost thousands of people. We've lost a good fortune, especially for the people who are in business. And also, for us as a people, we need to also now put pressure on our governments. Muthomi Njuki, when he came to the fore in 2017, he promised the people of Tharaka Nithi that he is going to also work on the bridge, redesign it within 100 days so that people will not die there. Because in 2017, over 20 people died on the same very spot before elections, and Muthomi Njuki was campaigning at the very spot where people died, and he was promising a lot of things, especially the design of roads in collaboration with the national government, and also the construction of a new bridge within 100 days. 5 years later, Muthomi Njuki has not even sent condolences to the families that have also lost their loved ones on the very spot that he was addressing them. And I believe people like Muthomi Njuki should not be re-elected into government again.
Okay.
Hypocrites, people take advantage of people who are mourning so that they can also send their sympathies and fake prayers, especially when people are mourning, when the country is mourning, when our counties, both the twin counties of Tharaka Nithi and Meru and the entire Meru region from Dochi to Ntonyeri are mourning. Muthomi Njuki, an hypocrite, is sitting somewhere waiting to issue a statement about the redesign of the same road that he promised in 2017. Muthomi Njuki and all the machineries at work, he had all the tools to be able to redesign that. He had every power to be able to talk to national government of President Uhuru Kenyatta to redesign that road and emphasize the very need on why we should be able to re-expand the Nithi Bridge and also redesign the road as it is today, Miriam. I believe people like Muthomi Njuki should not be given an opportunity. In the next 15 days, the people of Tharaka Nithi have an opportunity to send the hypocrite home who has presided over the deaths of so many people as the county chief, and also as a man who had claimed that he can be able to work together with national government. But what we've seen from Muthomi Njuki and others, Miriam, is that they have neglected the people.
Yes, and we will come back to that. Douglas, thank you so much for that background. But you started by telling us that there was some myths going around, that there's a possibility there's some sort of, is it initiations or what, if I could call them that, that was done near there, that every election years lives are being claimed, African superstition and all those things. Do people still believe that is why that place is a black spot, or is just a matter of, from what I was reading on social media and people who are conversant, and I think a few other people who have survived deadly accidents from that spot, they're saying there is a sort of a structural flaw in the manner, I think the spot where the bridge, of course the bridge has to be where the river is passing, but something needs to be done, because as it is right now, it's very dangerous. So people still believe it is the initiations, the superstitions, or it's just something that was done the wrong way and should be corrected, or all of those tie into our beliefs.
When you look at the way the bridge is constructed and the way the bridge actually is supposed to also come up and all that, I think they ran away from the design because it would cost more money and more resources and also more time to be able to come up with a proper bridge that connects from one end from Metheru to Marima. And then when they chose to redesign the bridge the way they have, because they've also reconstructed the road once after the road was constructed in 1980s. They have reconstructed it once to also accommodate more vehicles from one lane to two lanes from the Meru side. But on the other hand, from the Chuka side, they have not done anything, and also the bridge is small. The people who are also bedding the side from Meru to Chuka could not be able to properly take their turns, whether you're going to Meru or whether you're coming from Chuka, or whether you're coming from Meru to Chuka or Nairobi, or on your way to Nairobi. That is where the problem is. The issue about the bridge, the Nithi Bridge, is redesign of the road. And I believe there is no amount of money or resources or manpower that can equal to the lives that have been lost since 1980s. What we have always been demanding is the redesign of that road so that we can be able to have a proper bridge. No matter the cost, Miriam, we can have a proper bridge that saves people lives, that is efficient, And also that we cannot always come up year in, year out, and also continue making fake promises to the people, especially when we can be able to correct that problem once and for all. The only issue about that bridge, Miriam, is that it only comes up during elections, especially when people lose their lives, especially near elections. But that does not mean that accidents have not been happening at Nili Bridge for the last 5 years, Miriam. They happen, but the issue of major accidents happens during elections or after elections, Miriam. But I believe, from my perspective, that the redesign is important, and also building a good bridge that can accommodate more vehicles, and also that vehicles can be able to get through comfortably is needed at the Nili Bridge, so that we can also end the perennial losses of lives and property at that bridge, Miriam. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, we are still on the introductions, but I needed Douglas to shed some light over that infamous bridge that yesterday claimed 24 lives, and there are fears that more lives could, the death toll could rise in coming hours, and that is according to the police. All right, now we continue, and we're also joined by Gladwell Kiragu. Gladwell, good morning.
A very good morning to you, Miriam. Good morning to my fellow panelists. Good morning to our viewers coming live from Kiambu.
Okay, good morning. And we're also joined by Jevan Karanja, all the way from Nanyuki. Jevan, good morning. Okay, I'll go to Samuel Tawish. Tawish, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning indeed to you, Miriam Ogutu. Good morning to my colleague panelist, that is Javan Karanja, Douglas Bundi Kirimi, Gladwell Kiragu, and of course Kip Tanui, Savania, and all our viewers watching this program in Africa and the rest of the world. My great pleasure to join you on this program. Good morning, Miriam.
All right, good morning. And of course, the story, and Jevan will join us as we continue the story that we've been looking at, and that is the IEBC and its preparation for the general election. And it's like they're in a crisis mode. And I don't know when this is expected to stop, as right now IEBC has to deal with other challenges, and the people now who are the center of this new controversy is the Venezuelans who are in this country, apparently to help IEBC with the preparations of these elections. So the latest from what the headline on the Star this morning, and the story is on page 4 and 5. So we'll just look a bit of it, because I think we did have an extensive discussion of the matter yesterday, and dozens of detectives on Sunday raided Deputy President William Ruto's private office and carted away 2 servers. The hostility between the DP and President Uhuru Kenyatta took a further dramatic and sinister turn with the raid. The storming came only hours after the Director of Criminal Investigations, George Kinoti, denounced IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati, falling just short of placing him at the center of an alleged plot to rig the August 9th poll. Addressing Mammoth rally at Kapkatet in Kericho County, a visibly angry Ruto said it was Uhuru who was determined to tamper with elections and told the DCI boss to stop being stupid. Okay. But as the rally was going on, detectives descended on Ruto's private office at Transnational Plaza in the heart of Nairobi city centre and seized 2 servers. For a long time, Ruto has operated at the 9th floor of the building, but sources said that financial institutions also had an office there. The managers of Lamstar Technologies, who have been running the office, started to move out of the office on Saturday evening. Police said they were informed of the movements, and the servers were located there and contained crucial information. Nairobi Police Boss James Mugera said they had been informed of the movements and that there could be crucial suspicious information in some servers there. So we are acting on reports, intelligence, to come here. We have taken 2 servers, which will be analyzed by experts to tell us more on claims of the contents, Mugera said. He said he did not know the real tenant and occupant of the office, but he had talked to a manager there who told him the property in the office was being moved to another premise in Westlands area. He says the firm ran a mobile money service and servers were hosting details of the same. Just over a week ago, Ruto's team unveiled his election command center in Westlands. Dozens of police officers and those who from other agencies flocked to the floor on receiving the information of the movements and found hired workers still busy dismantling the office. Teams from Financial Reporting Center were also present. It was not immediately clear what they were looking for. A guard at the building, however, said most computers and servers were taken away before police arrived. Okay, so Mogera said they had traced the places where the computers and servers had been taken and would seek to access them. So apparently this office was hosting a mobile money service, and the servers, so this office that was moving. But according to the guard, I think after they were tipped off, the computers were moved. So I think you wonder if there was nothing to hide. Why are we moving computers and why are we moving servers if all they do is deal with money transfer services? Is this something that Kenyans should worry about, or is this a repeat of what we saw play out in 2017? And I'll start with you, Kiptanui.
Thank you, Miriam. I was also wondering, Miriam, and we've said on this television for quite some time that one man comes out and becomes so angry in a manner that he also even goes ahead and insults the DCI. And the same man has been claiming, Miriam, that the government is using DCI to frustrate them. Miriam, transnational out was the former office of ED, the private office. What was the servers doing over there? Miriam, there is one analogy, there is one narrative, Miriam, that surrounds all these things. That these people, as I said yesterday, these people might have been even installing their servers in Ugoi, their servers in all over this country. So we thank the DCI boss, Mr. Kinoti. We want to encourage him to continue. Even if Miriam, why is it that Wajakoya has not come up and installed Kinoti, asking them don't interfere with the elections? Why is it that Maura has not come out and installed the DCI that you are interfering with elections? Why is it that Raila Odinga also has not come out and all of them are presidential candidates? So these things, it gives us a mirror, it gives us a satellite or a science, a clinical science that Miriam, there must be something which is going on. Miriam, I saw Dennis Itumbi defending and even editing the passport, telling us that the passport was not expired. Miriam, if I have no interest on this election, why should I go on and defend these people? The other time they defend Aaron ID, and they say this is a fruit farmer. Later we realized that this was a terrorist. Miriam, as we've said earlier, Chebukati has got a very big web. This is a very, and as we are going to finish at the course of the week, Miriam, we might be even this DCI will have even gathered a lot of information. And DCI, Miriam, is an investigative agency. We have so many agencies that are credible in this country. They cannot come to your house and suddenly they break your house and enter inside. Why is it that they did not break the next office? Immediately these people realize, Miriam, that they are people, they are hackers, have been arrested. They move these things, and I think at the end of the week or at the end of the day, we'll be told what is happening, Miriam. Let us encourage Miriam. I wish I was a presidential candidate like William Ruto. I would have come out and say, thank you very much, DCI, for unveiling this. Asanteni sana kwa kufanya kazi nzuri, rather than coming and saying, wewe ni mjinga. Why are you calling somebody who is investigating things that can interfere with your win, that can interfere with you? So there is a problem in this country, William, and if we are not be careful, these people might even ban this country, Miriam. I submit.
All right, thank you. And of course, the story is long. It's covered on 2 pages, so I'll not read the whole of it, but I'll just pick and choose. I think yesterday, as I said, we had an extensive discussion on the same. And Kinoti accused Chebukati of insincerity and half-truths. in that letter that he wrote yesterday. We wish to put it right that the so-called electronic items were only a personal laptop, because remember Chebukati had written earlier, so the DCI was just responding to that letter by IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati, where he insinuated that the DCI was harassing its staff and things like that, and now the DCI was able to access material that could compromise the elections, and that was what the IEBC had essentially said in that letter. But DCI is saying, we wish to put it right that the so-called electronic items were only a personal laptop, the ones that the police took for further investigations from these foreigners, a monitor and a few flash disks, all belonging to the suspect. Is Mr. Chebukati telling Kenyans that the entire forthcoming elections are contained in this one personal laptop, a few flash disks, and a personal phone? How casual, he said. Kinoti questioned why Chebukati had indicated that the Venezuelan who was nabbed at the JKIA was the commission's employee, why the person did not have a contact with the commission, and why he carried such sensitive materials in his personal baggage. And in addition, he questioned why IEBC did not inform the police of the arrival of the sensitive materials to provide necessary security. So that is what the DCI is saying. So if because initially it was just the stickers, all right? But now IEBC said also there are other information in the laptops and these hard disks that the flash disks that police confiscated from these people, and Chebukati said this could affect the elections. So DCI is asking now, if this person was traveling with very highly confidential materials that have to do with our elections, so why was the police not informed, so that when this person arrives at the airport, they are facilitated in a way that the integrity of whatever it is he was carrying will not be compromised? I think that is what the DCI is trying to say. Gladwell.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And let me start by my remarks by this. 2 months ago, Ruto had an issue with the IEBC. Then all of a sudden, a miracle happened, and now they are close buddies. Let me use the word buddies with the IEBC. Which miracle has happened within those months, Miriam? Again, Miriam, let me say this. If I happen to be somewhere and my house is raided, and definitely I know there's nothing that will be found, I will keep quiet, and actually I won't react because I know I am innocent. Again, Miriam, if I happen to have something that is important, more so with the way these Venezuelans had important documents, Miriam, I would actually call and maybe let the government, let the police know that I'm coming in with something important, but they didn't. Miriam, there's more than meets the eye here. And as I said yesterday, we Kenyans will actually we are actually the spectators, but too soon we're going to turn to be victims. Because Miriam, the game that is being played here, and actually the masterminds being in the government, some of them, and then our Wafula Chebukati being the slot player here, it won't end well, Miriam. And I can tell you this is what we are going into. Again, Miriam, let us go back to when Rigathi Gachagua went for an interview. These people seems to have an issue with the policemen, because Rigathi Gachagua said that policemen can't understand anything about money. Yesterday, when Ruto was talking, he actually said that these policemen they were jinga. So these people have an issue with these policemen too. So Miriam, it's high time when Ruto is angry, we Kenyans come to see the true colors of things. Miriam, I submit.
All right, thank you. So now the three were not captured as mathematic employees as per the contract between IEBC and the firm, and they were directly report to Mr. Mohammed, Kinoti said. It is instructive to note that the suspect, therefore, is not an IEBC employee whatsoever, as alleged or insinuated by the chairperson of IEBC, because Chebukati had said his staff were being harassed by the police. And so DCI is saying there's no way we would have known this person is working for you, because there was no anything attached to him that he had with him that showed that he was an employee of IEBC. We saw he had things that he was not supposed to have, and so we detained him for questioning, but there was nothing with him or on him that showed that he worked for IEBC, so we could not just let him pass without us probing further. And so consequently, all the suspicious material carried by the suspect belonged to Abdullahi, but not IEBC. Mohammed did not pick him up, the person that, is in the also in the center of this. Mohammed did not pick him up or send someone to the airport, and denied during questioning any association with the suspect. So this Mohammed, remember the guy who was working the local link with Smartmatic company? So he's saying he did not even know who this person is. Mohammed also denied he was aware of any election materials that were to be brought in by Karmago. Nasikia sasa. And then Karmago did not bear any letter or documentation indicating that he had been invited by the IEBC, and as such, the materials in his possession belonged to Abdi Mohammed. So Mohammed is the person who apparently invited these people in. And he's saying, this Karmago, one of the three Venezuelans, is saying he did not he does not know him, and yet this person also came into the country with the same stickers. They came in first before this person was nabbed. There were two other Venezuelans who had arrived in the country. And I was reading the same story on, before we get into why DP Ruto is now very annoyed. I think I was reading the same story, and it's interesting because the Standard has learned, I'm reading from the Standard page 4, has learned that the three men could have entered the country through their links with the two IEBC officials, one of them a commissioner, and Abdullahi Abdi Mohammed, the CEO of Seamless Limited. So this CEO of Seamless Limited is a good friend to one IEBC commissioner, so that's how they could have accessed and be able to be in the country. And Seamless Limited, said to be the local partner of Smartmatic International Holdings, BV, the company IEBC has awarded the contract to deploy technology to be used in the elections. The three foreigners entered the country on various dates in the last 2 weeks, carrying with them sensitive election materials that has triggered a political storm with just about 2 weeks to polling day. Mohammed confirmed he knows the IEBC commissioner, but maintained that he has no blood relations with him. We don't come from the same clan. Our interactions with him are purely work-related, especially on the KIEMS project, he said yesterday. And so I don't know, does this bring a twist and turn, or is this just further complicating matters here at Tawish?
Thank you so much, Miriam. And indeed, when you read out those particular reports coming from the office of the DCI and coming from the IEBC, and the boiling of Deputy President William Ruto and the allies as regards to the arrest of the Venezuelan, this information, more so the response or the defense coming from the Wafula Chebukati and IEBC does not quite reconcile with the true position that the office of the DCI really holds. Because, Miriam, all the information, all the variants really points to a sinister game being played by IEBC, maybe in cahoots with some of the political players in this country. And particularly, I will refer to the Kenya Kwanza coalition, because we cannot, I'm struggling to understand why exactly is Deputy President William Ruto and his allies coming to the defense of IEBC blanketly, instead of them coming out and also calling for accountability, calling for transparency, and asking IEBC tough questions as regards to the possibility or the likelihood of the election being rigged. Because I mean, IEBC is a referee of this particular exercise that we are going to have on the 9th of August. And the players must all be reading from the same script. Regardless, if the referee appears not to be fair, or the referee appears to be a compromise, or the referee is playing some sinister game, how come that some of the players really are siding with IEBC? That is the first call of course, I mean suspicion, why the Kenyan people really are asking tough questions to IEBC. Remember, the DCI led by George Kinoti is one you cannot just wish away. One thing, Miriam, that this country must get to understand is that George Kinoti, being the head of DCI, is no ordinary spy in this country. George Kinoti is the head of of course, the criminal investigation in the whole of African continent as we speak today. not really the head of investigation as such, but is the head of Interpol, the international police, and the rest of the African continent as we speak today. And by that virtue, is therefore conversant or is can be able to get intel very easily from the rest of the African countries as well as the rest of the world. And therefore, when DCI George Kinoti comes out with such information, it's not just out of ignorance. It is not just out of any kind of trying to play a political gimmick, but it is more of making sure that he plays his role as is mandated by the Constitution and by the appointing authority. The DCI is an independent institution. And when they are doing this, it is not because they are favoring President Uhuru Kenyatta or Azimio La Umoja or IEBC or Deputy President William Ruto. It is in the best interest of the people of Kenya, and it should be understood that way. So I cannot understand why Deputy President William Ruto and allies are coming out guns blazing on, of course, DCI boss George Kinoti and his institution simply because they are doing the right thing. Second point I want to make, Miriam, like I said, every information and defense that Chebukati is coming up with is not quite reconciling with the position that the Directorate of Criminal Investigation is giving. There's no, of course, there's no information that points to the effect that these Venezuelans are working for Smartmatic, is a Smartmatic company. There's also no contract or otherwise, or even an agreement between the Lycos, the company that was contracted by IEBC to do the printing of the election materials. That is the company from Greece. There's no document, there's no proof, there's no contract, there's no agreement that even points to the effect that Lyco company was going to sublease or has subletted some of its activities or job to this Smartmatic company from Venezuela. There's also no information as regards to how these people were coming into the country, including their work permits, including even their passport. Information now reaching us is that even these individuals came in with the expired passport. So, Miriam, who is it that is in the authority, or who is it that is allowing these people to come into the country, in fact, unlawfully? Because with an expired passport, you cannot quite expect that these foreigners will easily access the country or even fly to Kenya. Who would have made this possible? And secondly, Miriam, everybody is asking, how could these Venezuelans be in possession of such very critical material that are very essential and key to the election that we are going to have next month? You're talking about the stickers, you talk about the computers, and some of the very sensitive documents that they are coming with, or even the machinery that they were coming in the country. And some more information also, Miriam, is how come that these individuals were not coming to meet even IEBC officials directly, but they were going with these documents and with these gadgets to a private office to meet a private individual who apparently is linked to one of the officials or the commissioners at IEBC. So every information that Chebukati is giving and IEBC is giving, as well as Deputy President William Ruto, is not quite reconciling. But what I'm very glad about, Miriam, is that the government is very, very keen, is on the lookout to ensure that the Kenyan people are going to be provided with an election that is free, fair, and credible. And any kind of maneuvers, any kind of shenaniganism that Wafula Chebukati's led IEBC is trying to play, maybe in an attempt to try and rig in a particular individual in this coming election, it's not going really to work out, Miriam. It's also very unfortunate. And I think even the world will be looking at us in a funny way and not quite understanding how did we even get where we are. Today, IEBC, the preparedness by IEBC is worse compared to their preparedness in 2017, Miriam. And we are just bracing to the coming election without asking ourselves how adequately IEBC is to conduct this election. And a commission and the chair who oversaw an election that was annulled by the Supreme Court of Kenya, a presidential election, the first in Africa and I think second or third in the world, are being overturned. Yet 5 years down the line, we just sat pretty and waited, and here we are. And some of the things and the agitation by the political players and the stakeholders haven't been quite addressed, Miriam. So how can we be sitting comfortably waiting for IEBC, the same being chaired by Wafula Chebukati, to give us a free, fair, and credible election? I can quite tell you, Miriam, from where I sit, we are staring at a very, very dangerous. We are staring at a very dangerous electioneering exercise because, again, Kenyans, where they are today, they do not have any faith and confidence in IEBC to oversee this election. Whichever way it goes, Miriam, whichever kind of outcome we are going to have, I'm going to tell you, Miriam, that we are going to have a contestation in our courts and probably even in our streets, because IEBC, nobody now trusts IEBC, regardless of what kind of outcome we are going to have in this coming election. I submit.
All right, and just to take us, thank you so much, Tawish. And just to take us back, before I move on to the next panelist, just a bit of what Chebukati wrote. It's quoted here on the Star newspaper. The National Police Service has most importantly confiscated all electronic items. The electronic materials contain important and sensitive information relating to the forthcoming election. And then you wonder, why would such material as Chebukati is describing, a person travel with that as a personal luggage? Why? That goes against the usual protocol.
That is the ball of contention, Miriam. And mark you, the work of the DCI is to carry out investigation, regardless of which kind of political divide is going to favor the outcome of this investigation. That is not up to the DCI really to determine. What is important for the DCI, assuming these people really say were mercenaries, or they were coming to destroy this country, or even to plan for an uprising or to overthrow the government, or whatever kind of ill motive they had, then by the end of the day, the Kenyan people, and most of these political players, will be coming out still guns blazing to ask the office of the DCI and maybe the National Intelligence Service that they're not living up to their task, they're not living up to the expectation and the mandate that they have been given or donated by the Kenyan Constitution. Miriam, it's very, very unfortunate. We should allow the DCI to carry out their job as is mandated by the Constitution and as donated by the people of Kenya. We shouldn't quite want to see people come out and try to politicize everything that the office of the DCI. And it has become more like a tradition for Deputy President William Ruto really to attack the independent institution. He did it with the EACC, has done it with the Kenya Revenue Authority, is doing it with the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, was doing it with the Director of Public Prosecution, and every of the independent institution. And this poses the question, Miriam, in the unlikely event Deputy President William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza wins the upcoming general election, then we are going to see an overthrow of the Constitution. We are going to see maybe all these independent institutions being wiped or being reorganized at the behest of Deputy President William Ruto and the cahoots is operating with. So these are very dangerous, man. Okay. Kenyans must be very, very careful. And this must be one of the yardsticks that will determine, or rather that should determine the person that the Kenyan people are going really to vote in. You cannot have a person who wants to become the CEO of this country really exhibiting such kind of temper and anger, even speaking in public podiums. This is very, very unfortunate, and I think it is one of those determining factors or parameters that Kenyans are going to use in determining who is going to become the next president. I hope they're not going to be hoodwinked by the unnecessary rhetoric and shenaniganism that defines the person of Deputy President William Ruto. I submit, Miriam.
All right, thank you so much. So, Javen, I hope that you're there, because the next question I will be directing it to you. Addressing a rally at Katet Stadium in Kericho County yesterday, Deputy President William Ruto asked Kinoti to keep off election matters. We want to tell you, Kinoti, to stop. We want to tell Kinoti to stop his foolishness. Kindly save your time, stop writing us long letters, leave matters of elections to IEBC, give Chairman Wafula Chebukati his space, he said. Ruto said the saga that involved the arrest of the Venezuelan nationals at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, JKIA, in Nairobi was being choreographed by government operatives and Azimio la Umoja One Kenya to distract Kenyans from high cost of living and ailing economy. He called on President Uhuru Kenyatta to separate his roles as the head of state and being the patron of Azimio, whose presidential candidate is ODM leader Raila Odinga. So let's just go up there, the first lines that I read. He's asking the DCI Kinoti to stop writing these long letters. And the DCI pointed out a lot of, he said, inaccurate information that Chebukati had put forth in the letter that he initially wrote. The DCI, said a lot of things Chebukati said were inaccurate. And as you were talking, I was just going through my Twitter and social media and spaces where I know perhaps the IEBC would post a response or things like that, but I've not seen IEBC post a response. And yet a lot of issues that were raised by the DCI, they are really poke holes in so many things that he said, and puts him in a very bad light. So why do you think with those very important matters that were raised yesterday by the DCI, IEBC has not responded? And do you think that it will, they will respond perhaps today, and just to I don't know, give confidence to the Kenyan voters and for them to let us know that all is well in the Bay? Jevan. Okay, I'll go to Douglas.
Thank you, Miriam. I believe also Tawish has also said that George Kinoti, the BCI, is the president of Interpol in Africa. This is a man that cannot wake up and just push innuendos and also propaganda through the media for the sake of the same. We've seen George Kinoti avert issues to do with terrorism, corruption in this country, and all that. I believe the pain from William Ruto about George Kinoti, the DCI, and the president of Interpol in Africa does not even emanate from the elections per se. It emanates from other corrupt deals and other things that Kinoti and the core have also been able to thwart before. And I believe that this matter on IBC, why is William Ruto more concerned about responding to Kinoti than Wafula Chebukati himself, when the issues that were George Kinoti has brought to the fore have been brought to the public domain? Mr. Wafula Chebukati is still in hiding. Many hours later, we have not heard from Wafula Chebukati. We've not heard anything from him, or even one of his commissioners or the CEO, Hassan Majan. We cannot understand why William Ruto and company are also come out of their way to defend IBC and to ask an investigative institution, the DCI, and also the leader of DCI, George Kinoti, to keep off the issues that surround the mysterious Venezuelans who came to this country with intentions which I assume were to rig and also hack the IBC systems and also rig these elections. I believe DCI Kinoti has a role to play in this election. Wafula Chebukati has a role to play in this election, and also William Ruto has a role to uphold peace and also to uphold calm. He needs to calm down and also wait for results to come. He's been campaigning for 4 years. Some came with it than him. He needs to let the people of Kenya pass a verdict at the ballot. And to IBC, that I have also accused of technically incapable of conducting free, transparent, and democratic, legitimate elections in this country, should be able to also come out and also clear the air. The allegations from the DCI himself are very weighty and also do not deserve the kind of silence that we are seeing Wafula Chebukati treat us to. Miriam, I was listening to you in the beginning of the show where you said that the IBC chairman, Mr. Wafula Chebukati, was defending these Venezuelans and telling us these guys from Venezuela are people who are working for IBC and are carrying sensitive information. They are carrying information that is that can bangle or uphold this election in terms of technological support. This person, Wafula Chebukati, has not come out to deny that these people are no longer IBC workers. And if Wafula Chebukati was misled, we have not seen him with a counter statement trying to counter what DCI Kinoti is saying. Wafula Chebukati is taking the people of Kenya for a ride. Miriam, honestly, less than 2 weeks to elections, we cannot afford to lose this country because of the greed of a few people and also the malpractices as exercised by IBC chairman, Mr. Wafula Chebukati. At this point, Miriam, this is where we've been calling the people of Kenya for the last 2 years. This is what we saw before. And I can categorically now state that we need to be able to nullify these elections and also take this country forward, Miriam, and also prepare for elections. Somalia, a banana republic, conducted the elections after 1 year. They postponed them for a whole year, and they conducted elections. Power was added peace-free. No person was dead in Mogadishu, despite having different functions of the military. calling shots and all that. At this point, Miriam, our country cannot be able to be banned because of the greed of a few people, so that we can go to an expensive reconstruction of our country. If there are forces outside the country that want the reconstruction of Kenya to happen after a chaotic election, we cannot be able to afford those loans and grants, conditional grants that you can impose on us so that we can reconstruct our company. Because what we can do now is declare that there are no elections in this country for the next 1 year, and then come after 1 year. There's no one that is going to ban the idea after 1 year, Miriam. We are still going to vote in this election, whether it is manual, whether it is electronic, but we need the IEBC to prepare properly. And also, for the newfound opposition leader, Mr. William Ruto, please stop interfering with the work of IEBC, and also stop interfering with the work of independent institutions in this country. This guy, George Kinoti, has a lot of information passed on his table every day. He cannot just wake up and start purporting to be speaking on matters, election integrity, and also investigating Venezuelans who are in the country, who are trying to get into the country legally. He is also going to dent his image at Interpol, where is the president in Africa. His record at FBI around the world and CIA and every other investigative agency is full of accolades. He cannot be able to bring down his credentials because of an election of 1 day, Miriam. This election is going to happen on 9th of August, Miriam, and Mr. DCI, George Kinoti, cannot be able to bring down his credentials. He cannot be able to bring down his name and image because of a dented election as exercised by Wafula Chebukati. I believe that this guy is genuine. If Wafula Chebukati is genuine, Miriam, yesterday you should have given up. He should have given us a clear statement. Are these Venezuelans working for IEBC? Why were they handling important and sensitive materials for this election as private luggage, Miriam? And also, we need to be told by Mr. Wafula Chebukati. He has a case to answer, Miriam. Are these elections going to be democratic, free, transparent, and maybe are we going to get a leadership that we are going to get? Will it be legitimate? Because as we can see, Miriam, even a kid can see that this election is already backward, and we don't want to know who backward this election. We want to postpone the election, do investigations, send these people to prison, then we can come back to our country and do elections, Miriam. Elections are not a matter of life and death. Postpone elections.
Okay. So, all right, this will shock you, but not really. I think at this point, I mean, investigations reveal that the contract between Smartmatic and IEBC on the supply of the 10,000 Kenya Integrated Elections Management System KIEMS kits does not include a clause on the delivery of materials from outside the country. So Smartmatic hakuna kitu wanafaa kuwa wanaleta, because in that contract it's not there. They're not supposed to be delivering some materials from outside the country. A loophole, the DCI says, the 3 foreigners exploited to enter the country with their consignment that is now subject to investigations. But how could that be a loophole while their contract does not include them delivering in of materials from outside the country? Now, in case you're wondering, what I mean, it's just stickers, and what does this mean perhaps, and why is this even sensitive, and what is the hula-baloo about these stickers anyway? Well, the stickers are meant to label all the KIEMS kits and ensure a smooth distribution of the gadgets to all the 46,232 polling stations the Commission has gazetted for use in the general election. The Commission has allocated a serial number for each of the kits, which will be assigned to every polling station. Servers that will serve the results have also been pre-configured. Hizo servers have been pre-configured, so the stickers are supposed to identify these special servers to align them to the serial numbers in the kits. This is aimed at ensuring that the servers are made to know which kits can transmit results. The servers will only accept results from serialized kits, and these serialized stickers are the ones that were being brought into the country, and that's why the stickers now are in the center of this new development from the IEBC. I don't know, what do you feel about that, Kiptanui? So it's not just your usual stickers.
It is unfortunate, Miriam, that the stickers which are which are very important, and the stickers which are supposed to come and actually help us are being smuggled, and it has been brought like a luggage. Miriam, there is a problem here. I've even realized that the reason why these people have been insisting that let us not use manual register, they had ill motive. So another thing, Miriam, which is coming to my mind is this. Maybe these people also, that is my thought, maybe these people, they also, Miriam, were coming to this country to establish, to put up their servers, so that IEBC, with them, will be running parallel servers and make sure they hack these ones. Because if, as the DCI is unveiling all this drama, Miriam, you can be able to see for yourself that if these were not ordinary stickers, if one Kim's kid was supposed to replace this sticker with those realizations, it will bring a lot of chaos, because we as human beings, Miriam, we as voters, we could not even know this, because you line up in a polling station. When it's your turn to remove your identification card, they check, yes, this is you. When you replace your fingerprints, Miriam, you are given this ballot paper, you just go and cast your vote and go home. So it's so that at the end of the day, when they are using these votes, Miriam, it will have an logarithm of certain percentage that has been set. Maybe it was even reprogrammed before it came to this country. Remember, Miriam, in 2017, when Raila Odinga went to court, they were insisted so much, these lawyers insisted so much, we want you people to open these servers. But what did people say? People in France are not even aware, because we cannot ask them to open servers, because up to date, those servers have not been opened, Miriam. So it is a lot of plans for Director of Criminal Investigation, Mr. Kinoti. He has done a lot of things, and we have confidence in him. Let us actually know much more about what is happening in this saga, Miriam. As I want to join my brother Douglas by saying, let us cancel these elections, let us postpone these elections, so that we because it has already been interfered with. And one person, it is better we cancel it and we prepare well. Then it will be nullified, as we've said earlier, and it will bring a lot of chaos. Miriam, thank you.
Okay, so I'll just read that part one more time as we wind up the show. I think we are a few minutes past the time because we still have another show coming up. The Commission has allocated a serial number to each of the kits, which will be assigned to every polling station service that will receive the results. Have also been pre-configured to align them to the serial numbers. The stickers that were coming in, they have the serial numbers to identify the servers that will be receiving results, and these servers have been configured. And this is aimed at ensuring that the servers are made to know which kits can transmit results. Okay, so I just want us to understand how important these stickers are. The servers will only accept results from serialized kits that have been serialized from the stickers that these people are carrying. So I think I'll just go back from where we started. These are just not your usual stickers you stick on to show the price or the serial number of something. These are stickers that are at the heart of our elections. And as Kiptanui, you've reminded us, in the last elections, we saw the debacle around the servers. So it's not a small matter, and the result can only be transmitted by the servers. The servers will only accept results from serialized kits. So, what we saw, what are these stickers are supposed to achieve. So what I'm trying to say is, this is not a small matter, and I'll just ask the question that I asked initially. Why in the world would such important election materials be transmitted and be passed as a personal luggage? And Wafula Chebukati wants us to believe that this is not really a big deal. Gladwell.
Miriam, let me tell you something. In election, nothing is a small matter. I have been an agent for the last 3 elections, and an agent actually does a very critical job, Miriam. And as you enter into that room, before even the ballot is opened, Miriam, we have to check everything. And you're talking about the serial numbers. As an agent, you have to write down that ballot 1 had this serial number, ballot 2, that is what happens, and that is the work of an agent. So Miriam, somebody saying that you carried, stickers as a luggage, that is very wrong, Miriam. And another thing that happens in that room where people are going in to vote, apart from agents, nobody actually is even allowed to use their phones apart from agents. And the reason agents are allowed is because there are some things you transmit to the offices. For example, the turnout of the people between, let's say, from 10 to 12, approximately 2 hours. The turnout, you have to submit how many people actually in the polling station who have voted. That is the work of agents. We do a critical job in there. So Miriam, somebody saying that you came into the country and actually nobody was aware you're coming in and you carry the stickers. That is very wrong, Miriam. And these people should be actually thoroughly investigated, because I said, Miriam, something is cooking. And the people who are going to be served this meal, it is us Kenyans. And again, Miriam, when you cook at a point, you have to cook something else. If that pot is put back into the fire, it will actually backfire to Afula Chebukati. So Afula Chebukati can stop actually sliding with one side, because that is what you're doing. And the funny thing is that you can't say you're being used. Actually, you're being used to help other people, and when they win it over, you'll be left there facing the consequences. In an election, that is not the way to go, Miriam. At the end of it all, we need a free, fair, transparent election. And again, Miriam, why is it that the others are not complaining of what IEBC is doing? I believe apart from Ruto saying it that this work is being done by the State House and Raila, why does Wajakoya doesn't have an issue with what IEBC is doing? Is he connected to Uhuru? Is he connected to Azimio? So Miriam, I think let DCI do his part, because at the end of it all, we need our country more than it is now, Miriam. I submit.
Mm-hmm. All right. Just to check in with Javen. I don't know if he's available. Javen, good afternoon. All right, so we'll just leave Javen alone then for today. Samuel Sawish, conclude for us. The stickers, it's not just the usual stickers to identify products. This is something at the heart of our elections, a very important material. Why was it necessary for a person to travel with this very high sensitive, part of materials for the elections as a personal luggage? Why?
Miriam and my fellow correspondent, the answer is very, very simple. I mean, this was absolutely unnecessary. And if IEBC knew very well that this election material are the ones that they want to use, and that there's actually a clear roadmap on how they acquired these particular materials, and the companies that they had sourced to provide these services and the materials for the benefit of this coming election, then they should have done everything transparently, so that Kenyans cannot read a lot of mischief from their preparedness in as far as this coming election is concerned. Miriam, does it even surprise you that as we speak today, IEBC did announce that they have over 10,000 new polling stations, which have not been gazetted. Not anyone really knows where are these over 10,000. I believe there are about 16,000 or so new polling stations as we speak today. Yet those polling stations have not been gazetted. Nobody knows where those polling stations are. This in itself is unconstitutional, and it goes against the spirit of constitutionalism and the independence of the IEBC. Another point, Miriam, up to date, we have about 3 million new voters out of the enlisting that we had just previously, adding on to the number that you had in 2017 general election. That gives you a total of about 22 million registered voters in this country as of now. But as we speak today, IEBC hasn't even provided a fresh register that you can be able to authenticate and say this is a fresh register of 22 or thereabout million registered voters in this country as we head into this election. So there's a lot of opaqueness in as far as the preparedness of IEBC is concerned, and it raises a lot of doubt. It casts a lot of doubt on the preparedness of IEBC. And if they are prepared, then they're not prepared to give us a credible, free, and fair election come the 9th of August, Miriam. And if IEBC does this, they should be reminded of what this country went through in 2007, the kind of bloodshed that we had after that turmoil that was caused by the commission, then ECK, by not doing a proper election. We do not want to be reminded of such ugly scenes. We do not want to be taken there as the Kenyan people. And these kind of things that happen preceding election and during election really are things that cast a lot of doubt onto IEBC, Miriam. Election is not a one-day event. It is the preparedness, is the process towarding the election. And so if IEBC is sourcing election materials from individuals or from companies that they cannot make public, what does it then portend for to the entire exercise? How can we take them seriously that they are doing a credible exercise, one which is verifiable, Miriam? So in itself, I can openly submit to you, Miriam, and to our viewers, that IEBC as currently constituted and looking onto the events leading to this coming election, Miriam, I can quite tell you that nothing is satisfactory that IEBC is prepared to oversee this election. And we are just but really staring at an election turmoil because all this is more like a recipe for chaos. It's a recipe to ensure that you're not going to have a free and fair election. And worse to it, Miriam, you cannot understand how come that one of the players in this particular election, in the name of Deputy President William Ruto, appears to be in bed with IEBC, appears to be in agreement with everything that IEBC is doing. Wrong or right, they do not mind. They blanketly come and support IEBC, whether they're doing the wrong thing or the right thing. I mean, let IEBC do this or oversee this election in accordance with the provided legislations and guidelines in our constitution. Let them do it as mandated by the Kenyan people through the Kenyan constitution. Anything short of it, Miriam, I can tell you that Wafula Chebukati and the commissioners that are doing this should prepare themselves really to go to jail. We are not prepared to go into yet another sham election, one which Kenyans are going to protest and demonstrate against. I submit.
All right. Thank you so much, and thank you all for your time this morning. Don't go too far. We shall be back. I want to thank you so much for watching. This has been an extended version of Good Morning Africa. When we come back, we shall be looking at President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy on foreign investment and security. How much have we been able to witness as far as foreign investment in this country is concerned since President Uhuru Kenyatta became president back in 2013, and also security. How has he handled issues to do with security in the country and outside? So don't go too far. My name is Miriam Gutu. We shall be right back.